All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to State of the Gaming Industry. That just popped up. State of the Gaming Industry, episode 16. If you are watching on YouTube, please do subscribe to the channel. We do this show weekly on Thursdays, and then we do a new video every Monday. And if you're listening on Spotify or anything like that, or Apple Podcasts, do leave a 5 stars on this. So for today's episode, we're going to do usual, go through what I'm playing, weekly game releases, go through some of the Sonic and Shadow Generations reviews. I think it got an 80 on it got an 80 on Metacritic, so that's pretty good. Talk about some Nintendo Online Playtest stuff, some Monster Hunter Wild stuff, and then that's pretty much it. We also want to talk about some PlayStation 5 Pro specs. So this has been happening, and we'll probably see it a lot more as the PlayStation 5 Pro is. I don't think it came out yet. It comes out in November. So we're seeing like random people saying, hey, I checked out this game, and these are the specs on this game. This is how it compares to the base PlayStation 5 and everything like that. So we'll probably see a lot more of that in the coming weeks, just so people can kind of compare it to see if they want to buy a PlayStation 5 Pro or not. So with that out of the way, what I've been playing, again, I've been trying to find the time. I'll be honest, Metaphor is one of those games where I have to really, I played it for like 2.5 hours last night. I'm only like 21, 22 hours in, and the game's like 80 hours if you don't do it, like just to mainline it. So I don't know if I'm gonna be done with that game anytime soon. Call of Duty does come out tomorrow, Black Ops 6, so I do want to play through that campaign. I haven't played through a Black Ops campaign in quite some time, so I do want to play through that, and then that'll kind of be my like palate cleanse game, play online, everything like that. I don't know if I'm gonna stream it yet, but that's what I'm gonna get into. But let's shift over to the weekly game releases. So we got, start down here, start with the stuff that came out earlier this week. So on the 22nd, we had Fear the Spotlight, which was a survival horror game. We had Fae Farm, which was, I could have sworn was shown on a Nintendo Switch Direct at some point, but I guess not. That came out, got a 75. Batman Arkham Shadow. So that was a VR game only on the MetaQuest 3, I believe. That came out, that got an 83, so that's pretty good. And, you know, some of these VR games are getting some good reviews. There's a game coming out next month called, I forget what it's called. I forget, but it's kind of like Stalker. That's coming out next month. And that's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be good from what I saw from the previews. Alan Wake 2, The Lake House. So I didn't even know this expansion came out so soon because it got shown off at the partner direct or partner preview, the Xbox partner preview last week. And it got at 76, which isn't that good considering Alan Wake 2 was nominated for Game of the Year. So you would think the expansion would be pretty good, but I guess not. Wilmot Works Out, never heard of that. Smurfs. Romancing Saga 2. So this is a remake. This is the first time I see remake as a category or a genre, but it says remake or RPG. That came out today. I've seen a lot of JRPG fans talking about it a couple weeks ago. I haven't really seen anything today, but that got an 80, and that's on the Switch only. And then we got East 10 Nordics coming out stateside tomorrow. It's an action RPG, you know, the E series from Neon Falcon. It's coming out PC, PS5, PS4, Nintendo Switch. Action JRPG, got an 81, so that's pretty good. Then Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, which is probably one of the most anticipated games this month. October was just crazy as far as games go. But that comes out tomorrow. Sunday is Call of Duty. If you got the digital deluxe edition, you've been able to play it since Monday. And then we got Black Ops 6 coming out tomorrow. Now, I'm interested to see for Black Ops 6 is how are they going to do the reviews considering, like, I don't know if they normally do like single player, then they do the multiplayer review like separately, because it comes out tomorrow and there's no scores yet. So I don't know how they're going to handle that, but we all know Call of Duty is going to get, like, the reviews are going to be there either way. Like, they don't need, I mean, the sales are going to be there either way. They don't really need anything crazy as far as that. But I do want to look at some of the Sonic Shadow generation, because believe it or not, I know I've said it a million times. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna buy this game for 50, just because, like I said, I bought it 2 times already in the past. But I don't know. I really like Sonic games, and I definitely want to try this one out. I do want to play Shadow the Hedgehog, which I did buy a couple months ago, but I did want to look at some of these reviews real quick. So they got this is on PS5, which they had most of the like marketing for this game. But I got 49 positive reviews and then 6 mixed reviews. So see, PSX Brazil, they gave it a 9 out of 10. Says basically 2 excellent games at one. Sonic Generations a remaster, and then Shadow Generations is a new game that builds on the Frontiers formula. So a lot of people didn't like Frontier. I like Frontiers, so that's good to know, because I didn't want it to be like, if I'm gonna buy the game, I want to play through it, but I don't know if I'm gonna play through the Sonic Generations part again. Like I said, I already beat the game multiple times already, but I also don't want to buy the game just for the Shadow part. But at the same time, it's saying the Shadow part is kind of a like a whole separate game in and of itself. So maybe it's worth it. We'll see. Movies, games, and text. They said in the end, Sonic and Shadow Generations is a must-have for Sonic fans. They gave it a 9 out of 10 as well. They said Sonic Generations remains one of the best Sonic games of all time, which a lot of people say already. And the addition of Shadow Generations elevates this package to a whole new level. The new mechanics, collectibles, and Shadow's Adventure add depth and replayability, while the visual upgrades and refined hub world make it clear that Sega has learned from its past mistakes, especially when compared to Sonic Frontiers. So this is a perfect time to hop in and catch up on Shadow's story before Sonic the Hedgehog the movie later. So the other thing cool they did with this is they put out, I think you have to buy it separately, or you have to get the digital deluxe edition, but there's some like movie tie-in levels with Keanu Reeves voicing Shadow. I don't know how that works, as far as I don't think he's voicing him at any other part in the game, so I don't know how that works, but that's pretty cool. And there's I do want to look at some of the, so IGN gave it 9 out of 10. Gaming Bible gave it 9 out of 10. Game Rank gave it a 9 out of 10. But I want to see some of the mixed reviews to see why they didn't give it any good scores. I'm seeing a lot of 8 out of 10s. To get mixed, I think you have to get like a 74. Man, where are the mixed reviews? Okay, so Press Start Australia. So they gave it a 7 out of 10. Say on its own merit, Sonic Generations does its best to bring the best of both classic and Sonic and modern Sonic together in a fun, creative adventure. However, it tries too hard to fit itself into the same mold. It will be attempting to keep true to the 3D Shadow experience, ultimately falling short of the lofty heights it aims for. Die-hard fans might enjoy it, but more casual players might find themselves overwhelmed by the sense of speed. So I want to see what Eurogamer, they gave it a 6 out of 10. They said Shadow's campaign provides some of the best 3D levels of the series, but is coupled with a dated and unnecessary remaster. If only Sega went all in on the future. So that just that's very picky to me. That's like nitpicky. Like you're just like, oh, because of Sonic Generations, the point of it is that it's bringing the past and the future together. So the fact that they think, oh, they should focus mainly on the future, but it's with a dated remaster, it's like, I don't know. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna grab it at some point. Full price, probably not. But let's move over to, so I mentioned it last time. About Black Myth Wukong. So apparently, so we know it didn't come out on Xbox at all, but the ESRB continues to kind of be a leaker in a sense, because once you get an ESRB rating, you know a game is coming pretty soon. So we recently got a ESRB rating for the Xbox Series X and S versions of Black Myth Wukong. So we know it came out back in August. PC, PlayStation 5 had 20 million sales. Of course, people are saying, "Oh, it's all of China playing it," but it's like, who cares at this point? But I think Xbox needs to get that on before the end of the year. Like August, we're talking about 2 months. If it comes out next month, that's 3 months. And I mean, we already know that this kind of happened with what was it called? Baldur's Gate 3 last year, where it's like there are these like zeitgeist games that everybody's playing and you're kind of missing it, and you're like artificially giving what do you call it? You're artificially giving PlayStation like a timed exclusive almost, and it's on PC via Steam. It's not on Xbox PC. So yeah, they got to figure that out. But then we also got this from the official Black Myth Wukong account. They said, Destiny Ones, thank you for your patience with the Master Disc for Black Myth Wukong ready. The PS5 physical edition will be available to you very soon. So in addition to the ASRB rating, we got the official announcement that is coming out the physical edition, which a lot of people like collecting, these type of games. So that's supposed to come out very soon, as it says. So unfortunately, I feel like if it's already rated for Xbox, they should just put out the digital and the physical version at the same time. It would be cool if they do like a collector's edition. Now, of course, I already bought the game on Steam, so I'm not double dipping on it, but I think that would be a cool launch thing. Like if you're already putting it out on the system, like, and you already made the disc for PS5, then you might as well get the Xbox version as well. But now let's talk about, so this is going to be hard for me to talk about because these tweets and everything's getting deleted that I'm trying to look at. But essentially, we got some leaks about that Nintendo Online Playtest program that everybody was talking about last week. Now, some people were saying like, oh, it's gonna be they're gearing up to do something with Nintendo Switch Online. They're gonna do, I keep clicking that. They're gonna do GameCube is coming, or this gonna be like a Switch 2 playtest or something. But as you can see, all the pictures are getting deleted. I don't want to post any pictures either because I don't want to get caught, but it's saying from what we've been seeing, it's about like a MMO type of thing. So it says here the game, the goal is to work with others to fully develop a massive, expansive planet by utilizing creativity and farm resources. As you progress across the planet, you'll discover new lands. And then I literally can't read. If I try to, yeah, it got deleted. But essentially, well, let's see if he tweeted anything else more about it. I don't think so, because people are being very like, not scary about it, but they want to just wait because people are getting, DMCA'd and all this other stuff. Like if they're posting pictures and videos, this is one person I literally want to show. He's posting full on footage of what's going on with it, but I can't because it's, they're going to knock my account. But it to describe it, it looks like you're creating a bunch of different characters, and like it says, like doing resource stuff. They're like swinging around like Spider-Man. Like I have no idea what they're doing. Some people are saying like, oh, this is to replace kind of like the Miiverse and things like that. I don't know, like who's to say? Like this is the okie doke, like they're having you create these characters and play around to see the interconnectivity to test online gaming when it comes to the Switch and the Switch 2 playing together, and how are those two systems going to really work together. And that, I haven't checked any videos on it, but I think, that makes sense, right? Like they're going to, or maybe this will be a real game, but they're kind of using it as a litmus test, or like not a stress test, because who knows how many people actually were able to play it. But if they're having you create these characters, you're building this world, you're swinging around, you're doing whatever, it's kind of like, okay, we're going to take all these different elements of different games, get as many people in here to play as possible, and then, or not as many people, but who knows how many people were playing the playtest, but they're in it, they're seeing what's going on, and they're checking the connectivity because let's be honest, as much as we talk about Nintendo being great with, you know, their first party and their innovation and all that, their online has always been bad. Like their online has never been robust or anything. So this could be, and it's called playtest, right? So this could be their way of seeing, number one, how can it make Switch online better? Because they said it's going to carry over from Switch to Switch 2, like they're going to be connected together, and they want to make sure that's a seamless transition as far as people playing together, maybe some type of matchmaking. I don't know if they'll do matchmaking because everything's been based on friend codes and stuff like that, but I think this is a test to kind of see how far they can take that. So we will see. I tried to apply for it, but it was too late. I think they said it was full. I don't know how many people is actually in it, so we'll just have to wait and see what it actually is. I mean, Switch 2 it's coming at some point soon. We know that, but oh, forgot to mention this. I meant to say this during when we were talking about the Sonic Shadow thing. So Sonic Cross Shadow Generations was going to be the last Sega game or their last major game that they published this year, but this is all the games that Sega or Atlas or anybody in the Sega family has worked on this year. So you got like a Dragon Infinite Wealth 89, Persona 3 Reload 87, Unicorn Overlord 86. This Demon Slayer game, I mean, it was a board game. Sweep the Board was 71. SMT5 Vengeance 87. Super Monkey Ball, Banana Rumble, I think that might be a mobile game. I don't know. Oh, I didn't know Monkey Ball and Like a Dragon's under the same studio. That's interesting. So that was a 77. Metaphor 94, and then Sonic Generations got an 80. So Sega's definitely the publisher of the year so far. Or not even so far. Like, I mean, the year's almost over, right? Like, as far as scores go and like quality, I think Sega pretty much like took the crown. Like, it's not even close. You know what I mean? So good for them. We mentioned PS5 Pro stuff earlier, but I wanted to talk about, I forgot to add this on the list of topics, but they want to talk about Helldivers possibly coming to Xbox. So this is from the Discord, I believe. So this was the was it the CEO? Was it okay? The community manager. So people have been talking about, you know, Helldivers 2 has been a big success this year and everything. So they're talking, okay, can it come to Xbox? But they're saying it has to take an agreement from both partners, meaning Xbox and Sony. So Arrowhead community manager Twinbird had this to say on Discord when asked about if the game will ever come to Xbox. He says, "Who's to say it couldn't? It's not up to us, but to Sony and Phil to duke out. But hypothetically speaking, if both parties think it would benefit them from a financial / brand standpoint, it could." And then they're saying, okay, will we ever see this on Xbox? I don't want to say like never say never, but I feel like because of how much it already sold on PlayStation and the fact that PlayStation is not trying to play the same game as Microsoft as far as putting like first party games on other platforms. I mean, we know we've seen Lego Horizon Adventures and other games come to PC a year and a half or 2 years later. I don't think they feel like, hey, we're going to get so many more players on Xbox and all that. Like, they sold enough copies, I feel like. Like, yes, you can always sell more, but I feel like for their own brand, they wouldn't do it. So I don't think this is going to happen. But speaking of PS5, so we did get some Monster Hunter Wild stuff. So first, we got the announcement of the open beta. So the open beta is going to be for PS5, Xbox Series, and Steam with crossplay supported during the beta. So that's good to know. But PlayStation 5 Plus people can get early access to the beta on October 28th through the 30th. So October 28th is next Monday, right? If tomorrow's the 25th, Saturday, yeah. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know why they would do it then. Actually, that makes sense because then for everyone, it's going to be the 31st through November 3rd. So that makes sense because the 31st is going to be Thursday going to the weekend. So of course, early access is before that. You could do your character creation. This is the most important thing, I think, when it comes to these games. Like, not just having the demo be able to be transferable, but this character creation, because that, I'll be honest, whenever I play a game like that, like the character creation be taking me 45 minutes to an hour, to be honest, sometimes because of all the detail, or like sometimes you don't care that much, but then your character looks trash. So like not having to do that over and over again, like the most, like that's kind of the future, honestly. The most things you can kind of get out of the way, like preloading the game and pre-installing and what do you call it, demo progress carrying over, character creation carrying over, all that, like that just makes everything a lot easier. But this is going to be a, no pun intended, monster game for next year. Like this Monster Hunter Wilds is going to have super hype on it, and it's coming out in a couple of months. I mean, February is right around the corner. So February itself, October I said was the craziest month this year. February next year is going to be really, really crazy. Like you got Monster Hunter, you got Assassin's Creed Shadows, you got Like a Dragon, you got Avowed, you got this a lot. But along with the beta, we got the Monster Hunter Wilds PS5 edition. So you got the DualSense controller here. Like I said, PlayStation's been, again, I didn't have a PS4, so I don't know how it was back then, but they've been taking a page out of Microsoft's book when it comes to these controllers. Like you got the, I say you had the Astrobot controller, Spider-Man 2 controller, the Anniversary controller, which was available for everybody to buy. Now you got this Monster Hunter Wilds controller that looks crazy. And then you also got the covers, if you want, which they've been doing, the removable covers. And then on top of the removable covers, you have the, I don't know if this is the actual system or not. Let's see. I actually don't even know those removable covers. So PS5 covers. Oh, okay. So there's no actual system. It's just the covers and the controller coming out February 28th. So, but still, I mean, I think that's a good get for PlayStation to get all that Monster Hunter Wilds, that brand association. Like it's a big franchise, especially in Japan. Monster Hunter's gigantic. So, but let's talk about some other PS5. So this is a PS5 Pro details for Alan Wake 2. So this is the other thing. So people were saying when it came to PS5 Pro, they're like, oh, what, they're not showing the games that you know, they're showing a bunch of old games that I'm gonna just have to replay to see how good it is and all that. I don't know if people are doing that or not, but when these expansions come out or these DLCs come out, I think that is the perfect time. The remasters, the expansions, DLC, all that stuff, when that stuff comes out, a lot of people are like, okay, let me compare. They're going to dive back into the game in general just to play the DLC and all that, but they might actually go back into the main game. So Alan Wake 2 had their expansion, the Lake House, come out on Monday. So they're looking at that. So here are the details on it. So when you're in quality mode, and this was kind of the gripe I had when it came with the PS5 Pro like label on stuff, is the fact that they can just add a little bit of more resolution or ray tracing and it's PS5 Pro enhanced, even if it's like the same 30 FPS. So it says here in quality mode, the 30 FPS with ray tracing, which wasn't available on the base PS5. Ray trace reflections, utilizes the PSR to the PSSR to upscale image to output 4K. So it's not even native 4K technically because it's upscaling. And includes improvement to image stability, fog, lighting, shadow accuracy. Now in performance mode, it runs at 60 frames. Includes improvements to image stability, like I said before. It uses approximately the same render image quality settings as the base PS5 quality mode. So the output from 1440p with PSSR upscaled to 4K. So, I mean, to be honest, 1440 at 60 frames isn't bad. Like, it's not bad at all. That's like, I get everybody wants 4K 60, but like 1440p at 60 is not bad. But yeah, those are the details on that. Again, I don't know if it's, my thing is, I understand for some people, so not to just harp on the whole PS5 Pro thing again. My thing is, yes, there is a difference. Like, there is noticeable differences for some people that like those things, the 4K, the ray tracing, all that. No one's debating that. Well, actually, some people are debating that. They said they can't tell. My only thing is the fact that $700 for the improvements, like the minimal improvements that you're getting, isn't worth it to me personally, especially since it's not applying to all the games. And again, the improvements minimal. Like you're saying, okay, it's still 30 frames, but you have ray tracing now, like that. You know, upscaling, not native, like all this kind of stuff. Well, again, I'm not gonna act like a tech snob. Like I actually could tell the difference between native and upscaling. Like if it looks good, it looks good. But to me, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't. 700 is steep for what they're barely doing on this thing. So, and now I just realized I did not look up this Crimson Desert thing. So there's a game. Sorry, excludes the clacking. Crimson Desert. So there was a game that Sony apparently was trying to get. Okay, here it is. So Sony was trying to get like a third-party deal with this game, Crimson Desert, as you can see here. So it looks, I think I did talk about this game before, but I mean, it looks pretty good. This is coming from Korea, but you see you pole vaulting over stuff. You got this turn into a bird. Like, it's very seamless. It's very, like, it seems like it's going off of what Tears of the Kingdom was doing with like the falling, like going from each place like seamlessly or whatever. But here's some of the info in the game. So it's from Korea, it's single player only. People are saying it's like Dragon's Dogma 2 meets The Witcher 3, open world, no character creators, just one main character, no Souls-like, but it's challenging combat, horseback riding as we saw, one system, fishing, arm wrestling, side quests, all this kind of stuff, next gen only. And apparently, that's not even what I was looking for. I was looking for the exclusive deal. So Pearl Abyss, so they're trying to, it's going to be 50 to 80 hours long with the definitive ending. Multiplayer mode will be released after. I was trying to see, okay, here it is. So it says Crimson Desert got a Sony offer for a timed exclusive, but Pearl Abyss refused. And I wonder why, because it's not like they're a big company or anything like that, but I mean, we've been kind of seeing like Sony has been really smart when it comes to third-party exclusives, or third-party time, quote-unquote timed exclusives, or second-party games where they help develop it or whatever, with like Final Fantasy Remake, Stellar Blade, Rise of the Ronin, all these games like that. They've been kind of grabbing a bunch of those games, especially these Korean, Chinese, Eastern culture games that maybe are from like smaller studios, because they don't have a lot of first party games coming out, like true first party games coming out. Like this year you had Astrobot and Lego Horizon, right? Like that, I believe that was it. That's not even first party. So they're doing these deals to, number one, you know, be able to get something super unique, a new studio that people don't really know, and then they can help develop it, get a little bit more money out of it, and then also keep it off of the competition's, you know, box, which is, you know, very smart of them to do. But now, why Crimson Desert would refuse that, I'm not sure, because to me, it kind of just, I don't know. Maybe they're seeing like what's happening with like Square Enix, and some people saying they don't want to do the, you know, exclusive thing, third-party exclusives on one console, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe they're just, who knows? Who knows? But I mean, I respect it either way. Like, if you want to try and do your whole thing fully independent, then I'm not mad at it. Now, speaking of PlayStation, talked about it, I think, last week, but this is from Deadline. So they did have to start from scratch on the God of War show, which I think was supposed to come on Amazon Prime. But they did apparently get a new showrunner. So Ronald D. Moore is going to now be the new showrunner for the God of War series on Amazon. Who knows when this show will actually ever come out at this point. But it says Ronald D. Moore is back in Sony Pictures TV Studios fold. He is taking on the high profile IP for the studio, and he has been tapped as a writer, executive producer, and showrunner of the Sony TV and Amazon MGM Studios Prime Video series God of War, based on PlayStation's hugely popular ancient mythology themed video game. So yeah, the show of, they've been working on it, it was 2.5 years ago, and now they're starting all over with this game. So it says this is his first major new project since he returned to Sony TV in June with a new multi-year overall deal. So he's doing a bunch of other shows for Sony as well. What else did he do? Okay, so he did the Outlander on Stars. I've seen that. I think that was that pirate show, I think, for All of Mankind on Apple TV. And he did Blood of My Blood and Star City. I don't know those two, but worked on Battlestar Galactica. So I mean, he has some experience, but we'll have to see. I mean, I think they would have wanted this to come out a little sooner because of the rumored like Greek remaster or whatever they're doing with the series. But I mean, as long as they're working on it, I don't know. These movies, tie-in games and all that, or tie-in movies to the series and stuff like that, it's hard, man. I don't know. Hard to stay on the same schedule with all that. If one thing goes wrong, then that's it. But speaking of things going wrong, let's talk about Ubisoft disbanding the studio that made Lost Crown. So apparently the team that made the Prince of Persia Lost Crown has been disbanded. Sales did not meet expectations and a sequel was denied. So there was a sequel that was going to be planned. And that sucks because I remember when this first came out earlier in the year, this was a lot of people's like early game of the year candidates. So I don't know what happened, but this is a message from the senior producer on the game. So it says, "I'm extremely proud of our team's work." And Pat, this is Abdul Haq El Guess. Extremely proud of our team's work and passion at Ubisoft Montpellier to create a game that resonated with players and critics alike, and I'm confident in its long-term success. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is now at the end of its post-launch roadmap with 3 free content updates and 1 DLC that will be released in September. We're now focusing on making the game available to more players. It was recently launched on Steam and will be available on Mac by this winter. Another thing that I've seen a video that popped back up, apparently this game didn't launch in Steam. It just said it was recently launched in Steam, and it was, I think it was $50 or $60. I've seen the game for as low as like $20. Been meaning to grab it, but I don't know. I'm gonna grab it at some point. But yeah, now launching into Steam is like a mistake. If you're going to be on PC, that is the largest PC gaming like community. So now launching in Steam doesn't make sense to me. Most of the team members who worked on Prince of Persia have shifted to other projects that will benefit from their expertise. We know players have a love for this brand, and Ubisoft excited to bring more Prince of Persia experiences in the future. And now, what really sucks about this is the fact that Ubisoft in general, we've seen is just like miscue after miscue with Assassin's Creed, with what's it called? Mario Rabbids, the new one, what was it, Sparks of Hope? Now with this, the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, like they just been, yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows getting delayed, them possibly getting sold completely to Tencent or going private. Like Ubisoft is, that's rough, man. Especially with one of it, like that's, like I said, was one of the few bright spots for the game this year. And then in addition to that, we could talk about Assassin's Creed 2 again with more Ubisoft stuff. It's the Assassin's Creed Shadows, the higher edition, as it's calling it. This is a translate, so this is from IGN Japan, but the early access that came with the collector's edition apparently is getting so it was delayed. Then the season pass is not a thing anymore, and then they're discontinuing the collector's edition, which is kind of crazy. So, oh no, sorry. So it says the season pass was discontinued and early access rights are discontinued. The price of the collector's edition will be reduced overseas. So according to an article in IGN US, it will be reduced from $279.99 to $229.99. And then there was a gold edition that featured the season pass and early rights, but that might get discontinued as well. But I heard the release of the collector's edition will also be delayed, but we'll announce details later. So that's getting delayed as well. I mean, that makes sense. If the main game is delayed, then the collector's edition will get delayed too. But then anything tied to that is what someone was saying. So it's like anything tied to pre-ordering the game, like any of the game, the season pass, the ultimate like edition items and all that kind of stuff, like that's getting disbanded. So it's like, do people get their money back? Do they not? I don't know what they're gonna do. That whole delay and what's happening with Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft in general is just like it's a huge mess. It's kind of crazy. I mentioned Horizon earlier, but I did want to talk about, this was a quote from Guerilla, and of course I didn't. Oh wait, I do have it right here. So. And I finally found the article where it said PlayStation was trying to grab the exclusive. So that's on me. But anyway, so Killzone developer. So for people that had PS3s, or no Killzone, this was made by Guerilla, who now obviously makes Horizon. So it says Sony developer Guerilla seems to be done with Killzone. So people have been asking for them to bring back Killzone. I forget who did Resistance, but whoever did that, they've been wanting that because they're like, Sony doesn't have a definitive like first person shooter and they want to bring that back, but it doesn't seem like that's where Sony is nowadays. So according to art director Roy Postma, Guerrilla's decision to start working on the Horizon series was a conscious choice by the developer, and one which would see it move away from the darker and more violent Killzone games the studio was initially known for. It says, we were done with it as a team. As a studio, we needed to refresh the palette. It was by choice the opposite of Killzone. So it says, when they switched to Horizon, it says, I think the themes that this story and the characters represent are relatable for all ages and people, like having a found family of friends, and finding your place in the world, the developer continued. So I mean, I think that makes sense. We came from making smaller games and games for children. This was a change Guerilla for in a lot of ways, making people laugh when they play the game. That was new for us. So that, I mean, that kind of does make sense, but I mean, that's not new for Sony studios in particular. Like, you could even look at Sucker Punch, you could look at Naughty Dog for sure. Like, Naughty Dog had they have The Last of Us, but they also used to have Crash Bandicoot. They had Jack and Daxter. They had Uncharted. Like, none of their game series are really the same. And then once they're done with it, they're done with it, and they move on to the next project. And yeah, we would like some of these franchises to go on forever, but it's like they want to make something else. So Guerilla going from Killzone, which was a very dark, gritty, like type of game, they, very bloody and war and shooting and stuff like that. Like, you want to go to Horizon, which of course has been like PlayStation or Sony's like one of their biggest franchises, like sold like I think 35 million copies or something. So them putting out the remaster, the VR game, the Lego game, the show that's supposed to be coming out for Netflix. Well, apparently that might have got canceled, but still, yeah, they tried to do something completely different. And again, not mad at it. If that's what people want to do, good for them. Now, the last topic we want to talk about, which I'm sure there's going to be a million think piece videos on, is so ukulele or ukulele, replay, whatever they called it. So it's not so much about this game being announced. So if you don't know, ukulele was made by has been an interesting week in gaming. Ukulele was made by some people that used to be working on Rare, who did Banjo-Kazooie. Even you could tell, like, the game, it's a spiritual successor, you could tell. But they announced I think replay, whatever they call it, the remake or remaster, it came out already, but then now at the end of this video, which I will show, it shows what the series is coming to. And if you look at it, you see Xbox, you see Steam, you see PS5, you see Nintendo. Now, it doesn't say Switch, it doesn't say Switch 2, it doesn't say NX, it doesn't say anything. It says Nintendo, and then you see these little eyeballs that stops on Nintendo, and it just sits there. And it's like, what is that? And it looks like, I'm telling you, there's going to be a million videos on this tomorrow, if there aren't any today already. But this right here means something. And the fact that it's just such a random company to put it. So as you see, even in their message, they said, and it's got 1.5 million views already. They said, as well as PC, Yuka Replay will be on PS5, Xbox Series, and ... Nintendo with the eyeballs. And it's like, what does that mean? And it's like, of all the games and people and partners to announce it, the fact that Playtonic, for this random remake or remaster, is announcing a new Nintendo system, which we know is coming already. Nintendo's already talked about it, but the fact that, like, what is it? It's kind of crazy. Like, no one else has said anything about it. Who knows? Nintendo allowing them to say this, I don't know. Like, it's so strange. It's also funny because Banjo-Tooie just got announced for Nintendo Switch Online this week. So there's, I don't know, there's a lot going on. Plus the playtest, like there's a lot. So who knows what this means? It looks like the Cappy eyes or something. I'm not sure, but it's like the NX thing back then, possibly a placeholder to whatever Nintendo calls the next console. Basically, third parties are getting tired. Oh, tired of waiting, LOL. Yeah, I mean, that might be true. Who said this? Mighty the Sprite. Yeah, dude, you're right. Because I forget what game it was, but another game did put NX at the end. And it's because like even there's rumors of some of these JRPGs like Metaphor, Persona 3 Reload, some of the other Bandai Namco games like what do you call it, Scarlet Nexus, and some of the Tales of games, Tales of Arise. Like these third parties are like, bro, like we can't even say we're developing for this system. It's like people can assume and think, and I think like Switch 2 is going to have a ton of third party support from the beginning now compared to Switch 1 did. Like it didn't have a lot and people didn't believe in it because of the Wii U. But I don't know. They must have checked some loophole. I hope they reached out to Nintendo first before they did that, but we'll have to see. I wonder, does it say anything in the trademarks? PS4 logo, PS5, PlayStation Shapes logo, trademarks. It doesn't say, oh wait. The Nintendo logo is a trademark of Nintendo. That's all it says. So we'll have to see, but definitely interesting to say the least. But that is all the news for this episode. I appreciate you guys for coming through again. Please do subscribe if you have not already. Check out all my latest videos. I will be posting another video on Monday as usual. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, do rate this a 5 stars. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on everything. Or I'll just read this last comment. Pretty much LOL. They're just waiting for the announcement of the new system. I'm sure Big N has their lips sealed until they decide to drop the announcement. Yeah, for sure. They definitely can't say anything, and they're eager, but we'll just have to wait and see. But like I said, like, subscribe, rate, 5 stars, comment, all that stuff. Check out my other videos. Check out other episodes of this